Here's the scenario. So you've added a new product to your line, you have sent out the marketing campaign, and now you are waiting, and some time goes by and no one buys your product, and you are wondering what is going on. Your first response would most likely be to put your product on sale or do a buy one get one free special. And while that would start shifting some stock, it still doesn't get to the core of the problem. It doesn't answer the question, why is no one buying? And therein lies criteria number 4 of what makes people buy. You need to make sure that your target audience can actually afford to buy your product or service. Now, when it comes to addressing the question of if your target audience can actually afford your product or service, you need to look at 3 things. First, your pricing strategy. Second, you need to look at your ideal customer profile. And then lastly, you have to have a look at your marketing distribution. When it comes to your pricing strategy, you need to make sure that what you are charging is at least covering the costs of distribution and production of your product or offering your service. But simply covering the costs is not enough to make it worth having your own business. You need to charge enough to make it worth the effort that you put in. That is why simply offering a discount is not going to solve your problem, because you cannot offer a service or a product at a rate where you don't make a profit. Your business is not sustainable. There are different pricing strategies that you can consider, and if you are interested in reading a bit more about them, you're welcome to have a look at my blog. There is a very informative article that I posted a few months ago. Now, once you have decided on a price and you are happy with the price that you are charging because you're covering your costs and it's actually worth it for you to be in business, then we have a look at your ideal customer profile. What I mean when it comes to your ideal customer profile is that you need to make sure the customer profile that you have created, the one that you have built your entire marketing campaign around, needs to include individuals who have the necessary disposable income to actually afford your product or service. Because here's the thing, if you find that your ICP can't afford your product or service, you can't just charge less, because you won't make enough money to sustain your business. So you need to find a new ICP. Doing this just involves going through the steps of setting up an ICP again. This time, you just need to make sure that your ICP includes that part of the population who can actually afford to buy your product or service. Now, once you know who your ideal customer is, and you are sure that your ideal customer can afford your product or service, you have to have a look at where you're distributing your marketing message. The distribution of your marketing message means, where are you showing your marketing message? If, for example, your ideal customer profile includes a mature audience who are ready to retire, but you use TikTok as your main channel for marketing activities, your marketing message isn't going to be as effective because your target audience is not on TikTok. And that's what I mean by distributing your marketing message correctly. But you have to know who your ideal customer profile is first before you can know which channels to use. To do a quick recap, to make sure that you meet criteria number 4 of what makes people buy, which is making sure that your target audience can actually afford your product or service, you first have to look at your pricing strategy. Then you have to look at your ICP, and after that, you have to have a look at your marketing channels.